Hey, this is Gavin King from IamGavinKing.com, and I am going to take a few moments to show you some SEO strategies using Brad Callen's strategies that he tells you about using SEO Elite. So, here we go. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to Google.com, the search engine of choice, and we're going to look up attorneys. We're gonna do some SEO for attorneys in Boise, Idaho. All right. So you can see down here is findlaw.com, and it's a sub page of theirs that comes up in the number one of the organic spots. You know, these are all sponsored ads. These are all sponsored ads. So in the organic results, you see the number one spot is a sub page of findlaw.com. Obviously, it's state practices, which is by state, and then Idaho and Boise, which is the city. And so let's look at the other ones here. We're going to look at the top 5. And same thing with All Law. There's an attorney one there. It's a sub page. Again, browse by area of law, lawyers.com. And then there's cities of Boise, departments, and then legal. These are all sub pages. And attorneylocate.com. Okay, so that's our top 5. And we're going to look up here too. Look, there's about 1.1 million websites optimizing for attorney in Boise. So that's a pretty good odds, really. That's not bad at all. It's not as, it's not like you're running up on weight loss or nothing like that. But we're going to go ahead and go to findlaw.com, and one really good sign of this page that we know is a sub page based on the URL. It's under lawyers, state practice, Idaho and Boise, so it's way down there in their system. And then we look at the page rank, and we know that it's a 4. So the Google page rank is actually pretty low for this site, or for this page, for this keyword. So we've really got two positive things going for us here. We've got a low page rank, and we've got a low number of websites SEOing for the term attorneys in Boise. Okay, next we're going to take a look at the source code. To do that in Firefox, you just go to View, you go to Page Source. Now this is going to look like just a bunch of nonsense to anyone who doesn't know HTML, but it really is just kind of if you know what you're looking for, when you learn what you're looking for, it will make a lot of sense. The first thing we're looking for is this right here. They've got a header. They got their second header inside of their first header, and you can see that the keyword isn't in there. In fact, you can see their header. They just basically have this image pulled in. I think it's this one anyway. It looks like it. Okay, now that we know that they're not using the keyword that we're looking for in their header, we're going to go ahead and look up the title tag, which is right here. And you can see that now the word we looked up was attorney in Boise. These guys have Boise lawyer, attorney, lawyers, attorneys, law firms, Idaho, ID, find law. Okay, so nowhere in that title tag is our keyword. So we know they have 2 strikes against them. They're not doing a very good job of SEOing for our keyword anyway. And looking back at their web page, you can see that nowhere on their web page, at least not anywhere obvious, is the term attorneys in Boise. Yep, I don't see it anywhere on there. That's my first little scan, but you can see it's not on there. It's just a bunch of categories lawyers serve. The best way to really tell in all of their code, you can look over their web page and not see it, but best way to tell is just go down there and do the old find, and it's not showing up. Attorney in Boise, it's nowhere in their code. So we know that it's nowhere on their page. So we know they're not SEOing specifically for attorney in Boise, but for some reason they are the top dog for the keyword. Next we're going to look at alt image tags. So if we just look up alt, it'll bring up the first, and they don't have, you can see all of these are links, and this is just a page full of links. So really it's going to be a tough page to use this illustration on, but you can see that at the beginning of this page there is one image, and it was the image that was drawn into that header tag. It was pulled into this header tag right here, and that's the logo. That's reference to the FindLaw logo right there. And it doesn't have an alt statement at all. So we know that we could beat them there. Up here, you'll see a link up here. That doesn't really have anything to do with that. So there's nowhere on here that they have an image with an alt title for attorneys in Boise or anything like that. So it's sounded kind of positive for us so far. And of course the last thing that we're looking for, once we've already looked for the bolded, underlined, or italicized keyword, we're also looking for it placed somewhere near the beginning of the body and toward the end. Of course, this is a cascading style sheet, so it looks a little different, but there isn't the keyword isn't placed there, so that's missing. That's a final point that we can beat them on. So now that we've done that basic bit of research on the number one website, we'll just complete the same thing for the subsequent 3 or 4 websites underneath it based on the rankings, and I'm sure that you'll find a very similar pattern. So here you see Boise Attorney. I'm going to guess that's a header. There you have Boise Attorney. They're obviously looking for Boise Attorney. There you go, 4th time. Okay, well then, let's look at the... Okay, so we look here under the title. We can see find a Boise lawyer, attorney, or law firm in Boise, Idaho, and Boise Attorney. Now what we were planning on SEOing for was attorney in Boise, a little bit different keyword. We scroll down and we find the header. Let's see here. Meanwhile, since we're down here and we're finding some alt tags, we might as well look at those. Attorneys, get a listing in our directory, child support calculators. We're looking at these alt tags right here because this is what they're telling the search engines that they have through the visually impaired required alt tags. Child support calendars. Alt tags are basically put on pictures so that when visually impaired people look at websites, they have a description of what is on the website. So when they see a picture, instead of seeing a picture, they hear a picture. And if you've ever heard that, it sounds pretty unique. You probably wouldn't forget it. Here's another image. Doesn't have an alt tag. Okay, so I'm not finding any headers here that I can see, unless I just scrolled right by it. Well, here's the head. That's not the same thing. So there really isn't a header here either. Now in the body of the page we see in regular script, well, we have it here in bold, Boise Attorney, Boise Attorney, Boise Attorney. There's no italics, so it's not really set off very much. It's up here. This looks like this may be the header, but I don't see that coming up anywhere. Boise Attorney. Here's the header way down here. That's nice to find after 10 minutes of looking, and there is no Attorneys in Boise in the header, by the way. So we will scroll down to the body. Okay, here's the end body tag. So all of this is the body in between there, and they haven't mentioned anywhere really in the end or near the beginning our keyword. So that's a good sign for us. So really this page is not optimized for attorneys or attorney in Boise. And what I'll do on my next lesson, I'll show you the next step. And this is Gavin King from I Am Gavin King. We're finishing up with lesson 1 for how to capture keywords, your targeted keywords for your website.